Bird said they'd call.
I'll have you checkmated, your next move.
Have I ever mentioned you play a very irritating game of chess, Mr. Spock?
Irritating? Ah, yes. One of your Earth emotions.
Certain you don't know what irritation is?
The pointed ears was immediately introduced as an idea. There were other ideas that fell by the wayside. Gene originally thought that the character should be made up in red. His skin should be red. There was still a lot of black and white TV sets out there, and when we tried wearing red makeup, it just went black, which was not what he had in mind. So that went away.
He looked a little different, and so did I. Here's a picture of the two of us about the time that we were testing his ears and trying to decide what they would really look like, what they should look like. We tried many shapes and sizes.
Then we began dealing with the idea that Spock had a copper-based blood, and that would produce a green effect. So we found a sort of a yellowish, greenish tinge to the makeup that was not quite the ruddy flesh and blood look that humans had. Freddie Phillips, who was the makeup man of the show, brilliant guy, and I spent days sitting in front of the mirror working on the eyebrows and working on the ears and working on the haircut. And the ears were difficult. It finally seemed easy, but it was difficult again because of budget problems. The studio had hired a local company to do special effects prosthetics, meaning that they would create heads and hands and feet and bodysuits for alien monster types of creatures. And in that contract that they were being paid for, they also had agreed to do my ears. They could do the rough stuff. They could do big, hairy hands, and they could do grotesque heads and so forth. But they were not used to doing the fine appliance work that you need to do when you're putting stuff on a human's face to make it look like it's really part of him. So the first ears that came down were kind of rough and grotesque. And Freddie put them on me, and he knew that this was not right. And we agreed, so we went back and tried them again. And they tried to refine it, but they didn't have the technique or the know-how to do it. So he went to the studio and explained that. And they said, well, we're paying them, so you just keep working them until they get it right. And we tried and tried and tried, and shooting date is approaching. And we don't have ears that work. And one day, it wasn't more than 3 days before we were supposed to start shooting, Freddie put on the final pair that had come from them and looked in the mirror, and he reached up and grabbed the tips of them and ripped them off of me and threw them in the wastebasket. And he went to the phone, and he called a guy at MGM makeup department, a guy named Charlie Schramm, who ran the makeup department there. And he said, Charlie, I'm at a spot. I got an actor here. I have to have a pair of kind of Mephistopheles devilish ears on the guy, and I need him now. Can you help me? And he got off the phone. He said, come on with me. We got in Freddie's car, drove over to MGM. I laid down at the table. Charlie Schramm applied the plaster to my ears to make a mold. And on the morning that we started shooting, 2 days later, the ears arrived, and Freddie put them on, and he was smiling. And we had the ears that worked. So Freddie Phillips saved my life as far as the character was concerned. He took it on himself to defy the studio. There was $600 involved. $600 is what it cost to get the ear done right, and they didn't want to pay it. And he took it on himself. He said, I don't care, I'll pay it myself. I'm not going to put you on camera with those other people's ears. And that's how we solved the ear problem.